thrilled to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I always feel a little awkward, you know. This is someone else's place, really. Oh, because, you know, that's the musician's seat. So I'm like, oh, gosh, putting my stuff there. You know, our tradition, we usually sit on the floor, meditation style. So, like, look at me here, all high and mighty, feeling tall. So, anyway, thank you so much for having me here today. Grateful to be here. So, just to start with a brief background about myself, I'm deaf. I'm a deaf Buddhist monk. So I think I'm the only one. Yay for me. It's a strange and a beautiful thing to be the only one of something. Because really, we are all really one of something. Right? So I lead a small community, small sweet community here in DC. A small community who's really excited to share this with me. So our community is called No Barrier Zen. So my community is similar to this here, the center. It's very diverse. I support the LGBTQ community, people of color, I mean everything, deaf, hearing, everything. So we have deaf people in our group, we have deaf blind people in our group, we have just blind people. So it's a really interesting mix of people. And it's a fun experience where we can help people with their spiritual path. My vision is to set up, is not to set up a temple, but really using the skills that I have to use my temple and to teach and connect with other people. And so far, I found that when we are our authentic self, no matter what happens in our life, people tend to respond differently because they see your authenticity. That means they will respond authentically. We assume that I have myself together, but in reality, I don't. Seriously, I don't. Don't laugh too much now. So the idea is to provide the teaching in sign language or in Braille, in different methods. Because there's a deeper message there too. People tend to show up with their brokenness. And we feel like, oh, okay, their broken place is a barrier to my process, my practice. Wow. I can't do this because I'm deaf. I can't do that because I'm blind. Or queer. You know, a multiple of things. But I've noticed in that broken place, in that vulnerability, that's not a barrier. It's really a gateway. That's where we start. That's where we really begin our spiritual practice and move along. So Zen Buddhism, you're probably wondering what that is. The word Zen, of course, means meditation, meditative. That's a Japanese pronunciation of an old Chinese word. So it's an old word that essentially means meditation. So basically, we focus on meditation. That's our goal. I realize that I say we do meditation. What's wrong with that? Doesn't seem... We don't do meditation. Meditation is our natural state. More accurately, you could say that meditation does meditation. I think we tend to make a mistake when we first start our spiritual path. We practice to relieve our troubles or leave ourselves behind or other parts of us that are behind. We believe in order to really practice the conditions must be right. But understand that we do not practice to leave ourselves behind. We do not practice to be in another world. We practice to be deeply involved in our world. So thank you for leading us in meditation. Thank you, Terry. I feel like it is so much easier to talk. We're already in meditation here, so it's easier for me to talk to you. While I think about this, I was reminded of something my grandmother would say. You have to let your mud settle. I always say, anytime you're looking for a Zen teacher, you look to my grandmother. If your grandmother is not around, find a 4-year-old. It's true, right? But my point is, even beyond all of that wisdom that is all around you, if you can be quiet and listen, it's there. It's everywhere. We just really need to be open to the teachings that are around us. There's a Zen saying that says, everything is preaching. Okay, I'm going to teach you some sign language. Are you guys ready for that?
Yes.
So, we have many traditions and chants and prayers. In my community, there are 4 guided practices we call the 4 great vows. Something that I chant daily. So what I'm going to do is I'll sign it. And then I'll do it again and where you can copy me. Okay?
Okay. Yes.
Raina could go ahead and voice. Sanctioned beings are numberless. I vow to save them. Okay? Ready for that? Sanctioned beings are numberless. I vow to save them. Gosh, I love that song, vow. Right here, from your mouth, you promise, you seal it over your hand here. So I love that sign, so strong. I vow. Whew, it's inspiring. So this next line, it says, desires are inexhaustible. I vow to put an end to them. Ready? So, desires are inexhaustible. I vow to put an end to them. Wow. You guys are good. All right, third line. The dharmas are boundless. I vow to master them. So, the dharmas are boundless. I vow to master them. Let's go with that one. That's better. So, sign language, you guys know that this means understand, to understand. But I understand with my head and my heart. So that's why I did it in both areas. Yes, the last one. The Buddha way is unattainable. I vow to attain it. So, ready? So, when you open your eyes, the Buddha way is unattainable. I vow to attain it. Beautiful. You see that? That the way is unattainable. I want you to feel that. I want you to feel it with your body when you're signing that. Can you feel that with your heart? The Buddha way is unattainable. I vow to attain it. Oof. Right in my heart. So Zen Buddhism is a part of Buddhist tradition. That is a vow to awaken ourselves. But we vow to awaken others as well. In fact, we vow not to rest until everyone is free. Our personal salvation is making sure that we are together. And then we realize that we are all in this together and there is no separation between us. We're not separate. Not between me and Tiffany. John and I are not separate. We're one. So we have to remember we are all one. The theme of my practice is, and of this talk, just learning to see those barriers as these entry points of our lives, and to see that we are all in this together, every one of us. And when we expand our practice and take care of each other, ourselves, we are truly taking care of ourselves. And when we expand our practice, interpreter error. So when we do that, take care of ourselves and each other, then we are truly upholding the world. Sentient beings are numberless. I vow to save them. It seems so abstract, but it's the truth. I'm going to tell you a story about this inchworm in the New York subway system. When I was living in New York City, I was on the subway. It was crowded. It was very late. I was tired. People crowded together, crushed against each other. But it was funny because we were feeling like separate from each other. You know, coming from our place, going to separate places. To the point where, you know, in this train, we're 100 feet under the ground, right? We're all here together. So then, if somebody makes a small movement, I noticed a couple. So the guy was chatting with the girl. And I noticed that the man had an inchworm crawling on his shoulder, right? On her jacket, sorry. And of course, he points at the inchworm and she freaks out. So again, remember, we're deep under this subway, right? So what could we do? So of course, the man just took it off and put it on the wall. And then, of course, the inchworm continued on its way. So, the man and women left to go home. However, the inchworm remained on the train. Subway. So, of course, I'm checking this out, and I'm like, what's wrong with this? Are you the girl who was probably about 8 years old walked over, picked up the inchworm, put it in her hand, and then brought it to me. She offered it to me. And the girl said, "Aren't you a monk or something?" Wow, right? So of course I said thank you, and I took it. But there was a problem, slight problem. You know, there's constant movement on this train, and this poor little worm in my palm, and I'm carefully holding it, and it's just kind of moving forward, and I had to figure out how in the world am I going to hold on to this worm. So something interesting happened. The woman who was standing behind me, she grabbed onto my backpack to support me. so that I didn't have to rely on the rail in the train, and that I could gently carry this worm right here in the palm of my hand. So again, when you respond to authenticity, people will respond. I noticed something. I noticed there was a shift in the train. The whole subway car was with me. And at the same time, the whole world was in the palm of my hand. Sentient beings are numberless. I vow to save them. I got off at my stop, walked the worm to the park, and released it. It's not abstract. It's right there on the subway. Where is their doubt? Where is their vow? No belief, no concept, just action. So I ask you, do you believe peace means no barriers? Do you believe peace means no headache in your life? Peace means being expansive enough to encompass it all. And the worm is teaching you how to do it, inch by inch. So, open your heart. Open your mind to include everything in your practice. The subway, the city, DC, New York, even a worm. And even yourself. Thank you so much for letting me speak and tell you silly stories.
We're going to have some more music by Sophie. Please welcome back, Sophie.
Hush now, little baby, go back to your sleep. And while you're there, maybe find your soul to keep. Find your soul to keep. Listen very closely. Listen close to me. Reality is blindness. Life lives in the trees. Life lives in the trees. Breathe it in, let it out. live in love. Go now, little baby, go now on your own. Live in peace and kindness, queen of your own throne, king of your own throne. Breathe it in, let it out. You know what it's like. You know what it's like to live in love. Live in love. Live in
Thank you, Sophie. So, now we're going to do our offering and